Greetings, Doom fans, and welcome to another edition of I Spy Doom here on the Doomstead Diner. If you've been following the series that we're currently doing, you know we've been talking about means and methods of keeping your stealth van, Savannah, warm in the winter. Now, it's not winter. It is midsummer here in Alaska, and it's a beautiful, bright, clear, sunny day. I hope I get a day like this down in Idaho when I go down for the total eclipse of the sun, where I will be in the direct center of the path of totality, and we'll have videos of the eclipse afterwards, hopefully. It doesn't matter. Okay. It's also daylight and whatnot, a little earlier than I would normally be making fires at the campsite, but I'm going to do it at this time because I'm all set up and ready to go. Now, in the prior episodes, we talked about really local forms of heating, using tea light candles, using kerosene lanterns, things like that, where you don't really need to bring the internal temperature of the van up very much. And those methods work very well. And then there are some other methods too that we'll talk about later. But for now, I want to talk about the oldest means of keeping warm, which is making a fire, and a nice big one. Now, the campsite here, as you can see, is set up very nicely with the fire ring right near the picnic table, although people move it around all the time. It's kind of in a different spot every time I come. But I like it the way it is right now. And the fire ring is a very nice solid one, built to last. It's got an entry port to put your wood in. It's got holes on the three other sides to let air into your fire, and so it burns very nicely. And then it's got a grate over it that you can do some cooking on. We'll talk about cooking a little bit later, and what some of the things you want to do there are. Now, the people who were here before me left a little bit of a mess of brush inside the fire ring, and they also left garbage. Not good etiquette. If you find garbage that somebody else left before you, pick it up and take it off site when you leave. Alright, so with this brush that's in there, I'm going to clear it out because it would mess up my setup to make my fire. So this one is pretty useless. I'll get rid of it. This one is going to be pretty good to use to poke my fire and move it around some as it burns. And so will this one. So I'll keep these around. And then there's a couple more pieces in there, but they'll just burn down. I'll just lay them down. Next, firewood. Now you're going to be thinking to yourself, how's he going to get this started with those big logs? Nicely split and nicely dry too on these logs. Get a couple of them, and then actually I think I'll put them together. That big one in there, and that one over there. That's what's underneath the fire grate. I won't have to move it later, or just a little. Okay. And now we'll take a couple of shorter pieces and drop them on. This looks better. And one more on top. So, if this was a primitive skills website, I would be making a little fire with some tinder and rubbing two sticks together or whatnot, or maybe a flint and steel. But this is not a primitive skills website. This is a how to live cheap website in the middle of collapse. So I'm going to make the fire the traditional way with lighter fluid. Or I could use kerosene for it too, but the lighter fluid it burns cleaner than kerosene does, so it's nicer to use. So we'll sprinkle our wood with kerosene, with lighter fluid, plenty of it. Don't be chintzy on your lighter fluid. Think that's enough? I think so. We'll see. If not, I'll add more. That was easy. Oh, getting toasty already. I'm going to have to probably move away. Alright, now, once it's going, it's going to give me plenty of heat over here. But I don't want the heat here necessarily. I want it in Savannah. And I got to figure out how to move the heat that's being generated here into Savannah. Alright, and for that purpose, although we're not going to put it on yet, for that purpose, just like in the smaller versions of creating heat, you need thermal mass. You need something heavy and solid that'll hold a lot of heat. You can also use water. Water holds a lot of heat, but if you use water in the cold in the winter and you put it in hot water inside the van, the inside of your windows will all freeze up and have what do you call it? Ice or iced up. So you don't want to use water as your thermal mass. Alright, that's it for part one, and we'll go on with this adventure in heating in part two in just a bit for me, but you'll have to wait for it for a week. And that's all the Doom. This time until next time on I Spy Doom here on the Doomstead Diner. See you later, folks.